Indians were better off than coloreds. Coloreds were better off than Africans. We were not oppressed the same. Our oppression was worse than the oppression of the Indians. That's why in the liberation movement, we used to say we are fighting to liberate blacks in general and Africans in particular. We must never apologize about that. Our struggle is to liberate Africans in particular. Apartheid legacy is still there, especially from amongst some of our black brothers. Majority of Indians hate Africans. Majority of Indians are racist. And we must never be scared to say that. They are racist. I'm not saying all Indians. I'm saying majority of them. The same thing applies to some of the colored brothers. They see themselves as more white than being black. It's a reality we have to deal with. The Indians had all types of resources even when they were oppressed. The resources that Africans did not have. To show, I want to give you two examples of why I say majority of Indians are racist. If you check the marriage rate between Indians and Africans, it's extremely low. Africans and Indians do not marry each other because majority of those Indians see us as subhuman. We actually marry each other more with white people than with Indians. An Indian who marries an African gets isolated and discriminated amongst Indian communities. They see that as a taboo. That's the first point. The second point is majority of Indians do not vote for African parties. Majority of Indians do not vote for the ANC. Majority of Indians do not vote for the IFP. They don't vote for UDM. They don't vote for EFF. They vote for DA because they see themselves as being more closer to white than African struggles. Yeah. If there are Indians who are going to catch feelings about this statement, it is your own baby to feed Malta Bear. Why should we be silenced here? Why are they an attempt to silence anything else that seeks to expose the realities that Africans are subjected to? When our deputy president shows that in parliament, they attack him because they want to silence that reality. And they tell us that Momo in treasury is a revolutionary, he fought in the struggle. If Momo fought in the struggle, he would have understood what Floyd said better than all those Indian-led mob which attacked Floyd. A revolutionary would have known that when he went into prison, that when he went into exile, he was fighting for blacks in general, but Africans in particular. That's a reality. Unless he was engaged in a struggle, Momo didn't know. But if he knew what he was fighting for, he will understand what Floyd was saying. Floyd was saying, in a situation where treasury staff, 80% of it is African, why is always represented by an Indian? He didn't say Indian. I would have said that. I would have said, why is treasury always represented by an Indian when there is 80% African staff? Why do you ask that question, Julius? Because there is a tendency amongst our Indian brothers to look down on African brothers and sisters and Momo should know that that thing should never be allowed. No one should look down at African brothers. Now, I found the leaders of the EFF, all of them queuing, going to explain themselves to people who have made it their business to misunderstand the EFF. They know what we're saying. They understand what we're saying. They deliberately distort what we're saying. They even say, why are they attacking Treasury? It means they are under investigation. I want to tell all those Indian journalists who organized a mob against us to know that we are not scared of SARS. We are not scared of police. We are not scared of any led Indian mob. We are not scared of anything. We are not scared of the media. You have tried to destroy us before. You failed. You will fail again because we are not made by the media. We are made by these masses of our people. Why should we be blackmailed here? Why should we be silenced by every Indian who found a strategic position, be in the institution of higher learning, be it in business, be in the government institutions, be in the media? When you speak against them, they organize some sort of Indian mob to attack us and expect us to keep quiet. I will never keep quiet. It doesn't matter who says what. I want to repeat, majority of Indians are racist and they do not like African people. They look down on them, and until we speak about that reality, they will never change. We have to confront that truth so that they change and become better people. Yeah. Handere Tomar EFF Ribuan Niti on lot of things. A lot of people said, don't say those things. But guess what? Majority of them are saying the things we said, they said we must not say them. They are now repeating after the EFF. Even on this question that was starting today, we are saying it's a reality which must be confronted. Now, if you go and check who are the beneficiaries of BEE, it's Indians. Because they are rated as black, and therefore they get the same priority as all of us. Yet during apartheid, we were not oppressed the same. We propose that a BEE arrangement must be amended. When you are Indian, you must qualify for 1 point. When you are a female Indian, 2 points. When you are a colored, 3 points. Colored male, 3 points. When you are colored female, 4 points. When you are African male, 5 points. When you are African female, 6 points. Because those were the most oppressed people during apartheid. Till today, women are still suffering triple oppression. They are oppressed, 1, because they are women. They are oppressed, 2, because they are African. They are oppressed for the 3rd time because they are a working class. So when a person says, let's give more women opportunity than men, that person is not a sexist. It's a person that seeks to address the inequalities that were not created by Indians, by the way. They were created by apartheid. Yet, we have a responsibility ourselves to correct it. What is even worse, China BEE. So, fighters, we need to make sure that we continue to speak truth to power. We must never be scared to speak truth to power. Majority of our people are unemployed. They are looking for jobs. We need to give our people jobs. And the only way to give our people jobs is to take over the economy and redistribute the wealth of South Africa amongst our people. Comrade, I'm not saying Africans do not oppress Africans. Africans must stop oppressing each other. You must love one another. You must protect one another. You must stop this thing of pulling down syndrome, because you give other races an opportunity to undermine us. The African unity is going to be very important. We need to support each other, but supporting each other should not mean mediocre. When we come